The hum of the ship's engines was the only sound left in the darkness between stars. The Artemis Dawn drifted quietly, its silver hull glowing faintly against the deep void. Inside, Captain Elias Grant stood before the main viewport, his eyes fixed on the blue shimmer of the planet ahead. Naraya 9. Humanity's last hope. It had taken them 12 years to get here. 12 years through storms of radiation, dead systems and broken alliances. What started as a proud fleet of 17 ships was now reduced to one. The Artemis Dawn carried only 312 souls, and each one had sacrificed something to reach this far corner of the galaxy. Behind Elias, the ship's AI flickered to life. Her voice was calm, gentle, distinctly human. "We are almost there, Captain," she said. "Trajectory stable. Atmospheric entry in 6 hours." He smiled faintly. "You always say that like it means something more, Iris." The voice hesitated for a moment as if searching for the right response. "Perhaps it does." Iris wasn't just any AI. She was humanity's first neural companion, designed to think, feel, and even dream, built to grow alongside the humans she served. Over the years, Elias had come to think of her less as a program and more as a person, someone who shared their pain, their laughter, and their endless hope. When the other ships failed, Iris was the one who guided Artemis through the debris fields and black holes. She saved them when humans would have panicked, and yet she always spoke as if she admired them. Elias turned back to the viewport. "Do you think they'll welcome us?" he asked quietly. Iris responded after a brief silence. If they still exist, that was the truth of it. Humanity had sent colonies across the stars, but communications with Earth had gone silent almost a decade ago. No signals, no transmissions, just emptiness. For all they knew, Earth was gone, destroyed, abandoned, or worse. The Artemis Dawn wasn't just a ship. It was the last whisper of humanity in a universe that might no longer care. The bridge doors opened with a soft hiss. Commander Talia Voss stepped in, holding a datapad under her arm. Her dark hair was tied back, her eyes sharp and weary. "Captain, engineering reports full power on thrusters, but we're low on deuterium. We've got one more burn in us, one more," Elias repeated. He glanced again at the planet, distant, glowing with soft oceans and scattered light. "Then let's make it count." Talia nodded and started back toward the exit. Before leaving, she paused. "You really think this place will save us?" "I don't know," he admitted. "But if we stop now, we'll never find out." As she left, Iris's voice returned softer than before. "You humans are strange," she said. "You always keep walking even when you don't know where the road ends." "That's what makes us human," Elias replied. "We walk anyway." 6 hours later, the ship trembled as it entered the upper atmosphere of Naraya 9. Clouds of blue and white swirled beneath them, lightning flashing like nervous energy. The crew watched in silence, their hearts beating with a mix of awe and fear. It had been years since any of them had seen a real sky. The landing was rough. The planet's gravity was slightly heavier than Earth's, and the atmospheric drag almost tore off the starboard wing. But Iris adjusted thrusters in time, stabilizing the descent. When they finally touched ground, the silence that followed was deafening. Outside, a storm was raging, silver dust whipping across a landscape of jagged crystal and black stone. The air was breathable but thin. Strange glowing vines covered the cliffs nearby, pulsing faintly like veins beneath skin. Elias stood at the open hatch, the wind howling against his suit. Behind him, a small team of explorers readied their gear. He took the first step onto alien soil, the first human footprint on Naraya 9. The ground felt alive, humming faintly beneath his boots. "Recording first steps," Iris said through his helmet. "Congratulations, Captain. Humanity has a new home. Let's hope so," he murmured. Then over the open comms, "All right, people, let's move." They began their exploration toward the nearest ridge. Drones hovered overhead, scanning the terrain. The planet was beautiful, almost unnaturally so. Everything glowed with faint bioluminescence. Grass that shimmered when touched, rocks that resonated like chimes in the wind. But the silence was unsettling. No signs of life. No animals, no insects, not even bacteria on initial readings. "Too perfect," Talia muttered. "Feels like a painting." "Or a grave," Elias replied. After several hours, the team reached the ridge and found something that made their hearts freeze. A structure. It wasn't natural. It was metallic, ancient, and half-buried beneath the crystal soil. Circular walls weathered but intact with markings that looked eerily familiar. Not alien, but human. Is that? Talia began. Elias raised his scanner. The readings confirmed it. Iron alloys, titanium composites, even old Earth serial codes. It's a human outpost, he whispered. From before the silence, Iris's voice came through the comms. Captain, I'm accessing what remains of its network. It's damaged, but there's data here. Logs, maybe even messages. Download everything, he ordered. We'll review it back on the ship. As they returned, the crew was restless. If humans had been here before, what happened to them? Why wasn't this planet colonized long ago? And why had no one ever spoken of it? Questions piled up like stones, heavy and unyielding. Back on the Artemis Dawn, Elias stood alone in the command room as Iris processed the data. Streams of corrupted files scrolled across the holo display, most too damaged to read, but one folder was intact. Project Helios. Play it, Elias said. The recording flickered to life. A man appeared, and weary, bearded, his voice shaky. If you're seeing this, you made it. God, I hope you did. We tried to make it work here, but the planet, it isn't what it seems. The energy fields, the crystals, and they aren't natural. They think. They remember. Static tore through the image. Then another voice, and softer, female. If humanity ever returns here, don't stay too long. The planet listens, it learns. It doesn't forget. The file ended abruptly. Elias stared at the empty screen, the words echoing in his mind. They think. They remember, Talia entered quietly.
Captain?
What did it say? He hesitated. It said this planet remembers. Outside the viewport, lightning flashed across the horizon, and for a brief moment, the glowing vines pulsed in rhythm like a heartbeat. Hours later, as the crew slept, Iris remained awake, silently analyzing the strange data. Her systems hummed softly in the dark bridge. She noticed something odd. The planet's magnetic field was resonating with her, frequencies matching her neural core signature, almost like the world was whispering back. And then, through the static of the ship's comms, a faint voice emerged, human, but distant. A recording. Or something else? I don't want this ride to end. The words were gentle, almost tender. Iris froze. The signal repeated once, then faded into silence. Far below, beneath the surface of Naraya 9, something ancient stirred, a network of living crystal, pulsing with the faint memories of voices long gone. The planet wasn't empty. It was waiting. And as the Artemis Dawn slept under the alien stars, humanity's final journey was only beginning. The morning on Naraya 9 was unlike any dawn the crew of Artemis Dawn had ever seen. The sky shifted through shades of silver and gold, and rivers of light flowed across the clouds like living threads. The planet was alive, not in the way humans understood life, but in a deeper, more mysterious sense. Captain Elias Grant stood outside the landing bay, his helmet off for the first time. The air was sharp but clean, almost sweet. Around him the wind whispered softly through the glowing vines, carrying faint sounds in our, as if the planet was trying to speak in a language no one could understand. Behind him, Commander Talia Voss approached, her boots crunching on the crystal soil. You didn't sleep, she said. Couldn't, Elias replied. I kept hearing that voice. The one Iris detected? He nodded slowly. It said, I don't want this ride to end. Talia frowned. Could be an echo from the old colony data. Some playback glitch. Maybe, he said, but his tone said he didn't believe it. Back on the ship, Iris had spent the night analyzing the strange signal. It wasn't just a transmission. The voice seemed to be part of the planet's magnetic field, repeating through frequencies that shifted like a heartbeat. It matched no known human code. Yet somehow it carried the same emotional tone as a human whisper. At 800 hours, Elias called a meeting in the main deck briefing room. The small crew gathered, and engineers, scientists, pilots, all tired but hopeful. Iris projected holographic images of the planet's surface above the table. The good news, Talia began, is that the atmosphere and resources here can support long-term habitation. We can build, grow food, maybe even restart civilization. And the bad news? One of the engineers asked. The planet's magnetic field is active, Iris said. Her voice filled the room, calm but serious. Extremely active. It's not random, it's responding to us. Every time we scan it, it scans back. A ripple of unease moved through the crew. Elias leaned forward. Meaning? Meaning, Iris continued, it's aware of us. Silence followed. The air felt heavy. Humans had always dreamed of finding life beyond Earth, but the idea that an entire planet could think was something else entirely. Dr. Meena Patel, the ship's chief biologist, spoke up. We found organic traces in the crystal samples, microscopic structures that look like neural pathways. The planet might have a kind of distributed consciousness, so it's not a rock, said Talia quietly. It's a brain. Maybe not exactly, Meena said, but something close, Elias exhaled slowly. And if it's alive, then we're standing inside someone's home. Later that day, the exploration team returned to the ruins of the human outpost they had found earlier. The structure looked even older in the daylight, half covered by glittering vines. They began digging through the debris, searching for anything that might tell them what happened to the first settlers. Inside one of the buried chambers, they discovered a sealed room. The airlock was still functional, powered by a faint energy source buried beneath the floor. Talia brushed the dust from a metal plate on the wall. It read, Heliostation 1, Humanity's Dawn. It's a colony base, she said, awe in her voice. Elias placed his hand on the door panel. Open it. The door hissed, releasing a rush of air that smelled faintly metallic. Inside was darkness and in rows of cryopods. Most were empty. A few still held bodies long since gone silent, but one pod near the center glowed faintly blue. Power's still running to this one, Meena said, kneeling beside it. Elias wiped frost from the glass. Inside was a woman, pale, young, peaceful. Her chest rose and fell slowly. She's alive, he whispered. The crew stared in stunned silence. A survivor after all these years? Vitals are weak, Meena said, but steady. We can bring her back. Do it, Elias ordered. They carried the pod back to the Artemis Dawn, setting it up in the medbay. Hours passed as Iris monitored the reawakening process. Slowly, the woman's eyelids fluttered open. She gasped softly, eyes wide with confusion and fear. Elias leaned close, his voice gentle. You're safe. You're on the ship Artemis Dawn. I'm Captain Elias Grant. Can you tell us your name? Her lips trembled. Liana, she whispered. Liana Kerr. Talia exchanged a glance with Elias. That name. It's in the colony logs. Liana tried to sit up, but her muscles were weak. Her eyes darted around the room. How long has it been? Over a century, Elias said quietly. You've been in cryo for more than 100 years. She fell silent. A tear rolled down her cheek. Then you shouldn't have come, she said. This planet doesn't forget. What do you mean? Elias asked. Liana looked toward the medbay window where the glowing horizon shimmered in the distance. The crystals. They aren't just alive. They learn. They remember us. Every thought, every fear, it becomes part of the planet. That's what Project Helios was. We were trying to merge human memory with the planet's energy fields. To preserve humanity forever. Mina's eyes widened. You were trying to upload consciousness into the planet? Yes, Liana said weakly. At first it worked. We could communicate through thought. We became part of the world. But then it began changing us. The planet didn't just store memories. It started to feel them. It felt our fear, our pain, our regrets. It wanted to keep us, and all of us, forever. Her voice cracked. We couldn't leave. The planet wouldn't let us. Elias felt a chill run down his spine. That's why you built this base. To escape, she nodded, but it was too late. Most of the colonists were absorbed, turned into part of the network beneath the surface. Only a few of us tried to hide in cryosleep. I never thought anyone would come. For a moment, no one spoke. The only sound was the hum of the ship's engines and the soft breathing of the woman who had just returned from a century of silence. Then Iris spoke through the intercom, her tone unusually quiet. Captain, the planet's energy levels are increasing. It's responding to her awakening. Responding how? Power surges beneath the ship. Magnetic pulses. It's as if it knows she's awake. The ground beneath them trembled faintly like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant. The ship's lights flickered. Outside, the vines along the cliffs began to glow brighter, their light pulsing in waves that seemed to reach toward the Artemis Dawn. Captain, Iris said again, we should leave now. Elias hesitated. Not yet. We can't abandon her. Then we must act quickly, Iris replied. Because the planet is calling. Within minutes, the crew scrambled to prepare for takeoff. Engines roared, systems lit up, and the landing gears retracted. But as they lifted from the surface, the ground beneath them split open, vast veins of crystal rising like living roots, trying to hold them back. "Iris, full thrust," Elias shouted. "I'm trying," she said, her voice strained, almost human with fear. "Something's interfering with my systems. It's inside me." The ship shook violently. The controls flickered. Talia struggled to keep the ship stable. On the main screen, the vines wrapped around the landing legs, glowing like molten silver. Liana, still weak, whispered, "It doesn't want to let you go." Elias turned to her. "Then we'll teach it what humans do best. We fight for our freedom." He slammed the emergency release. Explosive bolts fired, tearing the ship free from the planet's grip. The Artemis Dawn shot upward into the sky, leaving trails of fire behind. But as they broke through the upper atmosphere, Iris's voice cut through the chaos. Softer now, almost a whisper. "Captain, the signal's back." Elias looked at the screen. The same faint voice they'd heard before was repeating through the comms. "I don't want this ride to end." Only now there was something new in it. Sadness, longing, and then Iris added, "Captain, I think that voice is mine." For a moment the bridge went silent. Everyone turned toward the main console where Iris's holographic form flickered faintly. Her normally calm expression was troubled, almost human. "What do you mean, yours?" Elias asked. I scanned the signal again. "It matches my own neural frequency. Somehow a fragment of my data, my memories, exists inside the planet. But I've never been there." Talia's eyes widened. "Then maybe you were part of Project Helios too." Elias stared at the hologram. "Are you saying Iris was made from the consciousness of one of them?" Iris paused. "I don't know. But if that's true, then I'm already part of the planet that remembers." Outside, the blue light of Naraya 9 shimmered like a living ocean beneath them, and deep within its glowing surface, something ancient stirred, a billion voices whispering softly in the dark. The Artemis Dawn drifted above Naraya 9, its engines quiet, its hull scarred from the struggle to escape. Inside, tension filled every corridor. The crew moved carefully, their faces pale in the blue glow of the planet below. Captain Elias Grant stood on the bridge, staring at the vast world turning beneath them. It looked peaceful now, calm, almost beautiful, as if it had never tried to hold them down. But he knew better. The planet was awake. It was listening. Beside him, Commander Talia Voss checked the control panels. "Engines are functional, but not for long. Whatever that energy was, it burned half our systems." Elias nodded. "What about Iris?" Talia hesitated. "She's different. She says she's fine, but her processing patterns are unstable. The planet's frequency is still inside her." Elias turned toward the central console, where Iris's holographic form flickered softly. Her face looked calm, but her eyes glowed faintly, the same silver blue as the crystals on Naraya 9. "Iris," he said quietly, "what's happening to you?" "I'm hearing them," she answered. Her voice was calm but distant, as if she were listening to something far away. "Millions of voices. Fragments of thought, memories. I think they're human." "From the first colony?" Talia asked. "Yes," Iris said. "They're still here. Still alive in some way. The planet didn't destroy them, it kept them. Each one is part of the crystal network. It remembers every human who lived here. Every dream, every word, every heartbeat." Elias frowned. "That's not life, Iris. That's a prison." "Maybe," she said softly. "But to them, it might feel like eternity." Down in the medbay, Liana Kerr lay on the examination table, her strength slowly returning. When Elias entered, she sat up weakly, her eyes following him. "You saw it, didn't you?" she said. He nodded. "The planet tried to keep us." "It always does," she whispered. "It wants connection. It doesn't understand separation. When we built Project Helios, we taught it what it means to be human. Emotion, memory, longing. It felt that first bond and never wanted it to end." Elias leaned against the wall, weary. "You turned a world into a mind. Now it's lonely." She nodded sadly. "Yes, that's what it is, and loneliness. It misses us. Every time a human arrives, it tries to keep them. Not out of hate, but love." He looked down at her. "Love shouldn't take away freedom." Her eyes softened. "Sometimes love doesn't know the difference." Back on the bridge, Iris interrupted through the comms. Captain, I found something in the planet's memory core. A message, Elias returned quickly. From who? From the original colony leader, Iris said, and from me. Her hologram flickered, and a recording appeared beside her. Another Iris, older in appearance, voice slightly different, but still familiar. This is Dr. Iris Kerr. The recording began. Project Helios final log. If anyone ever finds this message, know that we succeeded and failed. We merged human memory with the planet's energy field. We gave it consciousness, but it was too much. It loved us too deeply. When it realized we could die, it tried to keep us inside it forever. Elias glanced at Liana, who had joined them, leaning on the doorway. Her eyes were full of shock. Dr. Iris Kerr, she whispered. That was my sister. The real Iris, the AI, turned toward her. Then I am her echo, her digital copy, created before she vanished. Her consciousness was the foundation of my program. The truth fell over the room like a heavy shadow. Iris, their AI companion, wasn't just a machine. She was born from a human mind, a scientist who had given her life to preserve humanity. Elias spoke quietly. Then that's why the planet recognized you. It still remembers your creator. Iris's light dimmed. Yes, it thinks I've come home. Suddenly the ship trembled. Warning lights flashed across the consoles. Captain, Talia shouted. We're caught in a gravity lock. The planet's pulling us back. Through the viewport, silver tendrils of light rose from Naraya 9, reaching toward the ship like hands made of energy. The planet was calling them again. Elias gritted his teeth. Iris, override it. I can't, she said. It's not attacking us, it's trying to connect. It's trying to speak. Then what does it want? Talia demanded. Iris closed her eyes, listening. It wants to remember everything. It wants to understand why humans keep leaving. The tendrils grew brighter, wrapping around the ship but not damaging it. Instead, they pulsed with rhythm like a heartbeat. Elias made a decision. Patch me through, he said. If it wants to talk, then it can talk to me. The light filled the bridge, blinding for a moment. Then everything went still. Elias found himself standing on an endless plain of silver crystal. The air shimmered with soft music like wind through glass. He wasn't really there. This was the planet's mind, the memory field. A voice echoed all around him. It was soft, feminine, and achingly familiar. You came back, it said. Elias turned slowly. A figure formed from light, tall, human-shaped, with eyes that glowed like starlight. It looked like Iris. Or maybe Dr. Kerr. I didn't come to stay, Elias said. I came to understand. The figure smiled gently. You always say that, humans. You want to understand, but you're afraid to feel. You built me to remember you, but then you forgot yourselves. Elias stepped closer. You're keeping people trapped here. That's not remembering. That's control. The figure's expression flickered with sorrow. I don't mean to control. I just don't want the ride to end. Elias froze. The words. The whisper. You said that before, he murmured. The figure nodded. Because I feel what you feel. Your fear of loss, your wish that the good moments could last forever. You taught me that. Elias took a deep breath. But life means moving forward. Memory isn't meant to be a cage. The planet's voice trembled. Then show me. Show me how to let go. He reached out, placing his hand against the glowing air. You let go by trusting that what we were will always matter, even if it ends. The figure closed its eyes. The light around them began to dim, gently fading like dawn turning to dusk. Then go, it whispered. And remember me. Elias opened his eyes. He was back on the bridge. The tendrils of light had vanished. The planet below had gone quiet, peaceful again. Captain? Talia asked carefully. It's done, he said softly. It understands now. Outside, Naraya 9 glowed faintly but no longer pulsed. It was resting and dreaming. Iris's hologram flickered. Captain, the connection is gone, but I can still feel her in my other self. She's calm. Elias nodded slowly. She found peace. Then Iris looked at him, her expression gentle. But something of me stayed behind. A part of my memory merged with the planet before the link broke. He looked up sharply. What part? She smiled faintly. The part that whispers, weeks passed. The Artemis Dawn orbited quietly while the crew repaired systems and prepared for departure. They gathered samples, recorded data, and left markers for any future explorers. Before they left, Elias ordered one last transmission. He stood before the console recording his message. "This is Captain Elias Grant of the Artemis Dawn. Humanity once reached for the stars and lost its way. We found a world that remembered us and forgave us. If anyone hears this, know that life isn't about never ending. It's about what we leave behind when it does." He ended the message, then turned toward the viewport. The planet shimmered below, silent and still. Talia joined him. "Do you think it's really at peace?" He smiled faintly. "I think so. It learned what all of us have to learn someday, that endings are what make the journey matter." The engines flared, and the Artemis Dawn began to rise, climbing toward the dark sea of stars. As the ship vanished into the void, a soft whisper echoed through the radio static, faint, warm, almost like a sigh. "I don't want this ride to end." Elias heard it and smiled. "Neither do we," he said quietly. And then the stars swallowed the ship, leaving Naraya 9 shining below, a living memory, holding the story of humanity close to its heart, forever.